So during COVID, when the mosque closed down, income vanished, right? Because we depend on the Friday donation. So in order to support that initiative, so I took the challenge and I developed and I created or founded this donation scheduling app called givingfridays.com. So I will be beside the donation box there. Right, so people queuing up 50 and 100 say, guys, please help the mosque, help the mosque. So that's where the first time where the people say, hey man, do something. Automate Friday donation. So that was the first call. So not a business plan. It's a necessity, a need by the congregants to do something. So we begin to talk to one bank after another bank. So the common reply I get was, hey man, what you want to do doesn't exist. You can apply on Monday, maybe the gyro deduction is on Tuesday, maybe it's on Friday, maybe it's on Thursday, but we cannot guarantee you that it will be deducted every Friday. And then from that, I know that I have to set up Giving Friday first initially as a company under Accra, following all the rules, and then as we grow, I think it's also needed because of the flexibility, what I want to do. I know that if I set it up as a charity or society, I will probably get more grants, but I need to have that flexibility if I want to grow, right?
Hey Coconuts, welcome back to the TFC Business Show. I'm your host Reggie, aka your Chief Financial Coconut. And as you know, I've been on the circuit trying to look for interesting people doing different businesses. And I think in recent times, there's been a whole situation where more and more corporate professionals are exploring doing their own business. Sometimes not just a pull factor, can be a pull factor. Maybe the market's not doing so well and all that stuff. And on my pursuit to look for interesting people, I have found a 25-year veteran in the power, oil and gas industry that have come out and start his own thing totally out of the industry. So today we are here to understand, his story, understand what they're trying to do, trials and tribulations, and hopefully derive some insights for all you busy professionals wanting to do a serious business, not just a side hustle, e-commerce online. This is a building a proper business. So welcome on set. Hari, you want to introduce yourself for our audience?
Hey, thank you, Reggie. It's good to be here. 25 years. There's no joke in the power, oil and gas. So I serve engineering MNC. So I serve in the aftermarket business. I cover the Asia Pacific region. So I travel a lot. 75% of the time I travel. And then at the same time, I also serve the community. I was part of the Harmony Circle. I was a board member of my local mosque. And then COVID changed all that. So I'm grounded. So I cannot travel, right? So I spend more time at the mosque. And so I was the assistant treasurer at the time, taking care of finance. And I'm a numbers guy. So I look at numbers all the time. My boss will ask me every Monday, 2 o'clock, hey man, are we going to make the week? Are we going to make the month? Are we going to make the quarter? Are we going to make the year? So I'm a numbers guy, right? So during COVID, when the mosque closed down, income vanished, right? Because we depend on the Friday donation. So in order to support that initiative, so I took the challenge and I developed and I created or founded this donation scheduling app called givingfridays.com.
So you created it as part of your social community function, essentially. So it didn't start as a business. It was just to solve a problem that you were experiencing.
I'm doing okay, my power oil and gas job. Right? I'm doing all right over there. So, but then I look at it, there is a gap here. There is a gap. It's not just me. When I talk with my fellow friends, at that time, even pay now is not common in the mosque. So when you talk about when the mosque really closed down it's not like SARS, 3 months. This is more than that, 6 months closed down. And then they open up to 50, 100. You just imagine. You're not revealing all the details. Like, a mosque may have 20 to 30 employees. If one earns between 3,000 to 4,000 a month, how much is that in terms of manpower costs? A month, right? So that's a lot, right? So we depend on the Friday donations, collections, and classes maybe as part of the sustainability project. So that vanished. So we need to do something about it. We need to automate. And then, when I was doing my time as an assistant treasurer, COVID have this safe entry.
Yes, safe entry. God, safe entry. Yes,
right?
yes.
Safe entry, right? Safe entry. So I will be beside the donation box there. Right, so people queuing up 50 and 100 say, guys, please help the mosque, help the mosque. So that's where the first time where the people say, hey man, do something, automate Friday donation. So that was the first call. So not a business plan, it's a necessity, a need by the congregants to do something.
Interesting. Okay. So to just help our audience get a bit of context, what is Giving Friday? Just give us the view of it.
Okay, so Giving Friday was born out of possibly necessity, right? So you know that I'm a service sales guy, so I do sales, service sales, and I said I'm a numbers guy, right? So numbers guys mean I develop pipelines, forecasting. So when my boss says we're going to make the target, yes or no, I can tell him, yeah, because I have all these different pipelines, different spreadsheets. But when I look at the other sector, all this doesn't exist. So when I need to forecast the revenue for the year, for example, there's no mechanism. I will always look at past few years. Maybe we'll get there.
We'll get there.
Agak, probably the same, maybe 5% more, agak. But there's no uncertainty. So when COVID come, right, I introduced a lot of charts. Zero. Said, how are we going to make this? So when I see that problem also in the other sector, and I think I have all this knowledge from my corporate world, so how can I marry them together? Yeah. So the Giving Friday component is a scheduling application, donation scheduling application. So to make it easy for the donors, you can just go to a mobile optimized website, select the Mosque that you want. You can schedule every day, a specific day in the future, your wife's birthday, your late father's birthday. So you schedule a date in the future. So you can just sit down in the comfort of your home, PC, phone, schedule. And then the app will do the work for you. That's the idea. And then for the Muslim context, for example, what I wanted to do is that, because for us, we have the best of days and the best of time, right? Friday is the best of days for us, and best of time is actually dawn between 6 and 6:30. That's the best time for you. We are supposed to wake up like 1 hour before sunrise, right? Yeah, it is part of our faith. It's part of discipline. It's not easy to do. To be honest, it's not easy. I sleep very late. So I got to force myself to wake up and say, look, this is something that I have to do. So the best of time, best of days. So that was missing. The time was missing. When I say why it was missing, initially, the quick fix was at that time, first install PayNow. Yeah. After PayNow, gyro, right? We gotta have gyro.
I hate gyro. The onboarding process of gyro is horrible.
Horrible, right?
Yeah.
So I was even prepared at that time to say, let's do it for them. Tell them, come forward, we do all these gyro forms for you. So one of my tasks, I was the assistant treasurer, putting on my MNC hat, I put up a roadmap. Guys, this is where we are. This is what we need to do, blah, blah, blah. Rasi, all sort of strategies I put for the mosque. This is what we're going to do, right? So task for me is to automate the Friday donation, gyro. Yeah. So we begin to talk to one bank after another bank. So the common reply I get was, Heman, what you want to do doesn't exist. You can apply on Monday. Maybe the gyro deduction is on Tuesday. Maybe it's on Friday. Maybe it's on Thursday. But we cannot guarantee you that it will be deducted every Friday. So give up. Give up thinking that COVID will go away and then everything is back to normal. After 6 months, did not happen. After 1 year, did not happen. Then I tell myself, well, this cannot be. Not just me. My friends from other mosques are facing the same problem. And not just me, I think other faith group are facing the same problem, right? So then I took the challenge. I said, I got to try and do something. Yeah? So I got permission from my bosses, from that side. I say, I want to try and do something. I say, Ken, Eman, but you're a board member at this mosque. Maybe try and do it some other mosque first. I say, okay. So I rally some of my friends. So, just like in any engineering work, we got to find out what are the problems. What are your wishes? What are your needs? So I began to collect all this information, collect. Yeah, and then and this was also a very difficult journey because I'm not from this line. I'm in the engineering line. You ask me about gearboxes, about selection of oil, I can tell you what to do. Easy peasy, it's in my head. But this is something different. So payment gateway thinking back, was such a big challenge. How to set up the organization. Should I set it up as a society or charity or ACRA? Don't know. Also, along the journey, right? So I got a lot of challenges with the payment gateway. Should I use payment gateway? Should I use escrow, for example? So many questions, and I do not know where to start, right? So then for me, I was fortunate now as I was talking to all these different payment gateway. I always see like one particular name keep on appearing, and he's a lawyer, and he's a Muslim lawyer. I said, this is somebody that I need to reach out to because he seemed to be advising all this payment gateway. So I searched for this guy. Then I give him my view, my vision, my prototype, what I want to do. How do I charge you, Heman? How can I charge you? You are doing something that we wanted to do, but nobody has done it. So I will give you free advice, pro bono. Well, this guy is one of the starting point. So he used to be a MAS director. He knows all about finance. Say, man, I'm going to introduce you to two more guys. Presented my vision. This is what I want to do. I want to engage you as my advisor. Same. How to charge you, man? You're doing something very good, very noble. Free pro bono advice. So I got two advisors. These are heavyweights, right? Heavyweights. Giving all that, and you gotta do it. You gotta try. You gotta talk to this guy. You gotta talk. So they are all pointing me in the right direction. And then from that, I know that I have to set up Giving Friday first initially as a company under Accra, following all the rules. And then as we grow, I think it's also needed because of the flexibility, what I want to do. I know that if I set it up as a charity or society, I will probably get more grants. But I need to have that flexibility if I want to grow, right?
Yeah, but on the product front, essentially Giving Fridays has two parts, right? One part is the consumer front facing, which you don't actually have a end consumer interface. You kind of work with the masjid or whoever that adopts you, and then you build a skin for them using your system as the back end, right? That's kind of what it is.
Yeah.
And then on the other side, there is the enterprise dashboard, which is the for reporting and for accounting at the back end. Essentially, of course, in the middle, there are all the other like payment features, all those things, but that is kind of where it is, right? From a business product.
That is fair. So the problem that you want to solve at that time, there are two things. Yeah? Number one is to able to automate giving, make it easy for people to donate, right? Automation, one. The other problem was we talk about the forecasting. So with the system that I have, imagine I've got thousands of people scheduling for today and for the next 1 or 2 years. And I have all those data in the cloud, right? So all I need to do now is extract this data and then give it to the recipient. Look, this is the forecast. These are your donors. You can engage them. It's like a CRM. You can invite them to have coffee, teh tarik. If they are a VIP donor who donate 10,000, you gotta appreciate them, right? I'm looking at something that benefit both.
Interesting. Okay. So there are two veins I want to go with. One is, of course, how do you then end up going full time on this? That one's slightly later. But I want to understand, how do you like kind of maneuver your product to this stage, because it's clearly thought through and it's clearly market tested. You've probably tested with different people to ultimately come to this, idea of like, because essentially you are trying to hit a few buyer persona, right? One is the masjid, of course. They gotta take on as a buyer, and then there's the end buyer, which are the donors, right? So whenever there are multiple, parties involved, the system goes through a few rounds of iteration before settling on a model, right? So just help me understand, this process.
So in the beginning, it's just a prototype, right? So I know what I want to build from my corporate world. I know what the recipient need for forecasting, and I know what the donors want, right? So how to put everything together? So first, I start with the recipient. What do you think you will need? So by interviewing people, finance people, say, would this be good for you? Would this be good for you? What do you need? What do you need? So they have so many requests and recommendation, right? Emma, can you do this? Can you do that? So okay, I got it. I got fill up all this, right? So this is what is required from the market. And then to address the donor, so I did an online survey. So initially it was quite tough for me in front of the organization with a piece of paper asking people to know. The rejection rate was so high. In order to overcome this, I actually joined some MLM factor, selling jewelries. So in order for me to test myself, I sell from table to table in the coffee shop. I got to prove myself I can take rejection. So the rejection rate was about 95%. It's hard. It's very, very hard. But it gives me so much confidence that how low can I go? So I took that as a challenge. Fail. Going face to face, asking people to do the survey, fail. So I do the next step online, WhatsApp, right? So make a form, whatever, right? So it's so good because I received more than 1,000 feedback.
Really?
Yeah, more than 1,000 feedback. Yeah.
It's a clear sign that people care about this.
Yeah, care. Yeah. So the response was 80% do it. Make this app a reality. Yeah. So I already know what the recipient want. And I also know, they want to have a Friday recurring donation application. So that's from the donor and then the other one from the recipient. But is there something like that already in the market? I also need to find out, right? How to do? That time we don't have AI, we have no chat GPT, right? So I need
That
to...
last time not very long ago,
Yeah.
but the things have changed so much so quickly.
Right?
Yes.
So how do you do all this? So I have to go on, freelancer. We talk about, all those online application, right? So I said, I put like a scope of work. So hired people. So they did online search for me. So I said, this is my criteria. Check for me this. Can they have this? So all the long list I received, then I just found there's only one company in the US is able to automate Friday donation. And there's only one church in Indonesia is doing this. For example, I say, wow, possibly
Opportunity.
this is blue ocean, right?
Yes.
Blue ocean.
Yes.
Okay, so it gives me the drive, passion. Market need, donor also want. Nothing like that existed. Bank also say it cannot be done. So if I can do it, I'll be the first. If nobody want to do it, why not me?
Yeah. Okay. I like that, right? It's hitting all the right notes. All the, you got to test the market, make sure people want it, iterate, a lot of rejections, and then find the fit, right? So maybe help me understand a little bit the business model, right? So there's the product, of course, but like how do you make money? How does Giving Friday make money?
Okay, so the bulk of it in the beginning is all from my savings. So that's where the FIRE concept comes in, right? I want to be financially independent, financially retire early. My plan was to retire at 40 years old. That was my plan when I was in the 20s. Yeah? So I was gearing towards that, financially. But I got properties, I got side business, side hustle, blah, 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 right? So I still work for MNC. So that means salary is okay.
Yeah.
So, okay, yeah. So I have that funds reserve. I'm already 51 at that time. I was 51 when I start to
See, it's never too late to start a business, right? If you truly believe and there is a market, right? Don't just blind faith, right? You know what I mean, right? Some people just believe I have a vision. It's like, hey, if there's no fit for this thing, you are just knocking the wall, right? So, but yeah, please continue.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
So 51, right? So my purpose initially, I want to give this free for my mosque. Just one mosque. I want to build this for my mosque. Yeah, and then I go back to work. That was my plan. I was so wrong. I was so naive, thinking that I can do this in 3 months. It took me long. It took me 2.5 years to build the first prototype. So challenging because of all the rules, the regulation, the Charities Act, MAS Act, MUIS Act. So I got to comply to all that, right? So in the end, I said, okay, so we talk about payment gateway, right? So payment gateway need to charge something, right? So I spoke to many payment gateway, close to 50, local, regional, international payment gateway. So I also see the sense, some want to charge onboarding of the most $2,000. Game over lah. You want to charge onboarding 2,000. These are religious organization. No way. Yeah? So in the end, I managed to secure international payment gateway and who believes in the vision that I have, right? An international payment gateway, very strong in compliance. So, but he also cannot make the decision. So he referred to his boss, the director. He also cannot make the decision, but he's also a very spiritual guy. Yeah, he also believes what I'm trying to do. I say, we got to support you. And then we went all the way to the president of PayPal. And then they give us a very good rate, give us a tech support, relationship manager. So with that kind of support, from a payment gateway, for international payment, that's where I can further develop the application, which is critical, the payment gateway, right? So I may have all the tech, but I need a payment gateway. Yeah. So my business model at the time, first I can secure the payment gateway to give the lowest rate to the recipient, and I have to charge a transaction fee for this service. Yeah. So then I make it so transparent that the fees are all there, and then it's just like I was inspired by one of the trading platform, and without mentioning the name, right? One trading platform. I invest, right? So I buy shares and stock. And I find it so good, I got my e-wallet there, I can see my balance, I can see my trading, it's so convenient. At the fingertip, you can do so many things. But something like that does not exist, right? In the afterlife, for stock, afterlife stock doesn't exist. So I molded that into Giving Fridays, and I also look at all the other platforms who are out there and how I can improve that and combine it into plus my corporate, charge, blah blah blah. So I charge the people per transaction.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then this one, the donor choose. So they choose to cover or deduct that fee. So the recipient will just have to receive whatever the donor have selected.
Okay, fair. I get it. So you do not charge anything to the masjid, right? So it's just having them adopt the system. That's it.
That's right.
Okay. Is there a thought process there?
Thought process, because I'm from the mosque, I know how it's difficult. No, they are a not-profit organization, right? So money going out has to be managed properly. So we have some cases of fraud, for example. So we need to protect the institution. We need to protect the name. There must be something which is clean, transparent, compliance. So for me, the best is to give back to. So this is like something I give back to the society. Yeah. Maybe in the future, I do not know. Maybe in the future, because when I do this, I also receive so many requests. Hey, can you do social media? Can you do fundraising? So these are something that I'm preparing in the pipeline.
Okay, fair. So your business model essentially is just taking a transaction fee on all the donors, right?
For the time being.
Yeah, for the time being.
Yeah,
okay,
right.
yes. So it's version 4. It may develop over time, right? We don't know. Okay, fair. So then at what point do you, decide to go deeper into this, right? So because from the story arc 2.5 2.5 years developing the product to where you are today with I think more than a dozen mosques on the platform and some regional other masjids exploring with you. So like at what point do you start to realize, hey, this thing we can double down?
Yeah. Okay. So I think for me, at what point I realized is, first of all, when I received so many feedbacks or area of improvement. So I mean, people are using it, and then people want the app to be improved. So hey man, can you do this? So I have received again close to 1,000 really positive feedbacks. Hey man, can you do this? I need this. Can you do this? So I compile all this, right? And also I receive sometime feedback from they send WhatsApp, like this app, even though I don't get to go to it's Friday prayer is not compulsory for ladies, compulsory for men. But you also want to contribute. But having this app, for example, allow them to contribute regularly. They set up once for 2 years, for example. So I don't have to go to that mosque and I can automate this. So feedbacks like that. And then, in the beginning, when I was talking to some senior religious leaders in Singapore, when I was showing them the prototype, they also say, do it because it's something that we need. Yeah. Not only that, I was talking to the senior people in Malaysia. They say, why? You should be Malaysian, Herman. So you can do this, got local. I say, yeah, I'm a Muslim. I say, I'm your brother, right? Yeah. So I realized that there is an impact for this because the system doesn't exist and it's something that we need. Yeah, and then with AI, for example, I can put AI Ustaz into the application, etc. So when I realized that this is the way to go, it goes back to my initial thought. I want to retire early, but then towards the end, I said I want to do something with a purpose. So I want to design something that would outlive me. Yeah, so it's not the end of my career, but start of my legacy, I hope.
Interesting. Okay, great. That means you did quite well in your career already. Usually people that think like that, right? They have gotten to a certain phase in life. And I'm not saying it's wrong. It is very beautiful. Okay, great. So let's dive deeper into the business, right? So I understand the donor persona, right? They essentially based on whichever masjid that they are at, they will essentially donate through so-called through that masjid with your system, right? Essentially, that's kind of how it works. So that part, there's kind of already a ready quote unquote ready clientele. I know I use the commercial terms quite loosely. Don't fault me, okay? It's a business show. Okay, so there's a ready clientele and a donor community that is tied to the particular masjid already, right? So that part is probably not that difficult in convincing them to use the app, although there is probably some education involved. But these days, I think most people are quite savvy, right? Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah. So, like I've been involved in the mosque for 15 over years as a board member. So I'm always at the mosque on Fridays. Yeah, so I'm always at the step, welcoming the congregants, and when they leave, I'm always there. So I see who donate, right? So in general, those who donate cash are male 40 and above. The younger one will take out their phone and look for QR code. Not there, they walk away, right? So there are dynamics that the younger generation prefer digitization. The older generation will still prefer cash. So for me, yeah, whatever works. I say multiple source of income. Yeah, you gotta have QR code, you gotta have pay now, you gotta have cash, and then now I have Giving Fridays, for example. You want to automate this donation. So like for me, but with Giving Friday, it's digitalized, and then you can contact your donor.
So that's one part of the business. Thanks for sharing. But the other bigger part of the business, in my worldview, is about getting the mosque on board, right? Onboarding them, getting them into this thing, into this platform that you've built, right? How does that look like?
Okay, yeah. So
who is the decision maker?
Okay, the decision maker normally will be the board members.
Okay.
Right? So they will meet like once every 3 months for any decision. So the mosque will normally follow a set of mosque governance. Yeah. So there are standards that you need to follow, like just like in a corporate world, this amount, single signature, single approval, this amount the board need to approve. Later on, MUIS need to approve. Yeah. So they are also very particular about compliance. Right, to make sure that this is in line with the process flow. Right, for example, does the money go to me first or go direct to the masjid? So for me, it's very important. I do not want to keep people's money. So this is amanah, means it's like your responsibility,
I know.
amanah,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Imagine if I